So I, in the second assignment, I'm going to grade that like today, probably. Yeah, today. And how are you? So that second assignment, we were really just testing what the CDC said were great risk factors, and we were just like, if you can imagine, that's what we would be doing as social scientists, testing an ongoing theory, or just seeing, is it here in the state of Florida, are we, how are we doing, and what the CDC is saying are risk factors, the greatest risk factors. Imagine, if you will, though, that right now we work for the Miami-Dade Department of Education, and we want to assess what is happening with our population and our schools' ability to meet the needs of a diverse population. Are we meeting that need? Did anybody see Waiting for Superman? No.
No.
It was a documentary that won, like, whatever you win, Oscar, maybe? Yeah, Oscar. It was really terrible, but one of the, I mean, it's wonderful, entertaining, whatever, and you cry for a little girl, Daisy or something, but, because she didn't get into the school. She had all these dreams, she was going to be a doctor, and she was only 9 years old or something, and she doesn't get into the school, and she's just destined for what the schools in East LA produce. It was sad. But there's daisies all across America. But one of the things, but the school, like the movie, the documentary will have you thinking, we need to get rid of unions, we need to get rid of tenure, we need to get rid of, and really bring the private market in to have a private, public, like charter schools. Charter schools are just like, like everything about your conclusions in that movie was just terrible, and they take you on an emotional journey of why it should work, but it doesn't. But one of the things that was, I mean, there's a lot of things that they bring up along the way in this argument that they're making that are pretty deep. And one of the things is like, I mean, it's been lasting with me for like 10 years of like this shift in thinking of the amount of times you'll say in your day-to-day, like, oh, that school is messed up, I bet, because look at the neighborhood. And you think, that neighborhood, yeah, so there's going to be a crappy school there. But probably, what if we flipped that and said, that school is messed up and look at what it's doing to this neighborhood. In terms of like, some of you are going to go off to do whatever the hell you want in life. Most of you. Yeah, a lot of you. Going to go off and you don't even know at your 20 years what, the next 60 are going to bring, and you're going to go all over the world. Imagine you didn't have a high school diploma, how much more limited your options would be. And we see these certain schools that just, I think Miami, they just let everybody graduate. I don't know. But in D.C., half the kids drop out. And when they drop out, they don't really leave the 2-mile radius of their school. So you think about what that school is actually doing to this neighborhood is just producing all of these people who can never really, they don't even know what the rest of their city looks like. And so in the movie, they go through like every major city in America has like, some percentage of their schools, they were calling them dropout factories. And what that does to the surrounding neighborhood, you're going to want to catch the first 10 minutes of what I just did when you go to watch this. It was deep. But not what the neighborhood is doing to the school, but what the school is actually doing to the neighborhood. And so you can go around every city in America and see these horrible high schools, and then the amount of people who have no high school diploma, limited skills, who just never left their surrounding area. And we're going to see what is, we want to do something about this. And in this, if you imagine, we are getting, all right, well, let's read what it has to say. For this assignment, we are introducing the ideas and practicing for the concept in the paper, really a poster. We're going to write, we're going to make, not really write, next month. There was a growing gap in most social indicators, wealth, upward mobility, etc., and education. There's a common theme in academic writing that Hispanic and Black students are underperforming and that poverty also has a strong correlation to school performance. You live and breathe and probably have already observed this. And if you live in Miami, you might not know this, but for the rest of the country, actually, the Latin population way underperforms the Black population. So let's do a case study for Miami. Pretend as though we are working for the Miami-Dade Department of Education and we need to improve performance for our constituents. Let's prepare an executive summary, meaning visuals and bullet points, because our bosses don't know how to read data, for the education board, of which areas we are not succeeding in and need to improve. So, again, at the end result of this, we're going to have a nice clean table, but nobody's going to know how to read the table. We need to know what was significant in this table and be able to have bullet points and visuals to explain what is happening and where we need to, where there is a need for us to put more resources, maybe ESL teachers, or maybe, I don't know, whatever it is, maybe we'll be able to assess what the damage of the certain schools is doing to neighborhoods. So, for this, we're going to do county subdivision geography, 5-year data, 5-year estimates. We're going to look at the 1824 population split between male and female, no diploma, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to want to know the poverty population in these characteristics, the Latin poverty population in these same characteristics, and the Black population in these same things. For today in class, that is what we are going to do. When over the course of the next week, I would like everybody to have kind of played around with the data to then show what they did with it to show what is significant. They're finding significant. If you don't have buddies in this class, you ought to make buddies so that we all have the same data, and then you'll have individual things that you find significant in there. So, go to Fact Finder and tell. What's your name?
Natalie.
Natalie, what to do? So, the first thing, Natalie, is
Population of 18.
go to geographies first.
Yeah. And
County subdivisions. Yep.
all counties or just
Miami-Dade. And then click on the all subdivisions in Miami-Dade. And hit add. Next. 2014 ACS. Topics. Wait, what?
Oh, it's 14. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, you can click on the data set. She's clicked on the year, but when you click on the year, the first one is going to be the one we want.
Oh.
The 5-year estimate 2014 ACS.
Well, I did something wrong.
No.
Wait a second, who's this right?
What is the next step? What is in that first step, in that first, like, number one box? What do you click on?
The counties.
No, yeah, here. Find as a whole number the population 18 to 24, male, female, the percent of the 18 to population, no diploma. Right. So, go back there. Now, if we go to topics under people, see, I can't remember which one I did, but one of them comes out perfect. We have age and sex or age group. I think age and sex. And Adi, click on sex. And hit the close button. Alright, so community, age and sex. Alright, well, oh, wait, click on educational attainment. population age, slow down, 18 to 24. There. Percent with no diploma, and got it male, female. Is that everything that we needed for the first part? The number one? Somebody? Did we want to know, and when it says number one, find, blah, 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 was it?
You need to know the diploma, but you also need the total population.
Total population we don't have in here, why not? All right, well, let's download this one and go find total population somewhere else. One thing, hold on, one more thing here. If you didn't notice, you can do this thing, create a little map. Right here, in Census. You can make your own little map of Census. Pick to create that little map. And it's going to say what data do you want, and I guess click on the population, the 616 right there. Yeah. And it's going to say OK or show map. In case you didn't know where we were talking about, these subdivisions that they've made in the Census Bureau are probably not what you would make living here. But this is in total numbers, right? So, like, if you scroll in, like, Homestead really goes all the way over. They're saying they've divided up this county in this way. Everglades literally means the Everglades. Have you ever driven across like 75 or this street right here, 41, Cayocho? Like you go forever, and then it finally says you're in Collier or Lee or something like that. I think Collier maybe? I don't know. Naples. But that whole way you're actually still in Dade County. And so it's going to come up when we look at the data for what they call Everglades. We'll see it. Hold on. All right, now continue. Let's get rid of this map and go back to where we were. Hit the back to advanced search, maybe. No, yeah. All right, so this one was good. Educational. Yeah, so let's download that one. The only thing we didn't have here is the total population, correct?
Yeah.
Do I open it, or are we going to get the total?
No, open this and make a new Excel file and just take the things we want and put it into a nice new clean Excel file. We are having on this campus, have you ever heard of Nerd Night?
Yes.
No.
Okay, 2 people have, and other people kind of, what is that? All right, nice to snicker. All right, it said Gramps, like one of the cooler places in Miami. Oh, yeah, I know Gramps. I didn't know they did things nerdy. I saw Hannibal Buress, like, last week, and he got arrested at Gramps.
Well, Wynwood is...
At Basel. I don't go to Wynwood either. But, my point being, what I was getting at is not even a promotion for Nerd Night, but right here on this campus, our department does a kind of like Nerd Night thing. Nerd Night is like, let's say I'm a researcher, I'm going to go get, like, I give talks in the daytime that are like in front of other faculty members and PhDs or maybe policymakers, but at night, at Nerd Night at Gramps, I might give a talk that's a little bit more informal, and it's at a bar and you have some drinks. Same topic, like same expertise, but just a little bit more informal. My point being, we have our own series of, we call it Science Cafe, and we're going to have it at Vicky's. Our first one is on the 28th. Trust me, I'm going to remind you every Thursday leading up until there to come and support our department. But we try to feature... We've had to feature grad students who are like making some progress so that our undergrads see like, wow, research is like actually attainable, and like somebody just a little bit older than me is working on a PhD. So either do like grad students or like maybe a younger professor who, you know, our undergrads just want to know a little bit more about, and they do have beer at Vicky's. Have you been to Vicky's?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have wine. That's craft beer.
Maybe they have wine. Oh, look how sophisticated you are. Anyway, So where were we here? We want to get the things that we wanted. You open up a nice clean Excel. We wanted C, D, F, C, D. Where you going?
I was
okay.
talking.
Yeah. You can hold down Control though.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the D. Wait, just hit an empty cell for a second. Anywhere. Okay, hit it again. Like double click in one. Okay, now go to D. Shift. What did I say?
Control.
I mean, yeah, Control F, not E. F.
And then H.
H.
J and L.
Is that what it is? J and L. So that's going to be the total population of 18 to 24-year-olds in wherever, like, yeah. The male, the female, the percent with no diploma of male and female. The only thing we're missing in number 1 is the total population, correct? And I think we can get that on like every other table we download. So let's copy those and put them in our nice clean Excel. Boom, just like that. Now, the next thing, do me one solid here. Hit Control F.
You want me to get rid of the Miami-Dade?
Yeah, get rid of CCD, comma space Miami-Dade. But I just don't do it that way because that's not even written the same way. Just double click in there and copy exactly how it's written. Right, now, yeah, copy all of that. And now paste. And then replace all with nothing. And look how clean it is. Beautiful.
Can you do that again?
Do that again.
Okay.
That was a neat little trick we just pulled there, Natalie.
So Control F.
Wait. Hit back. You see the back button at the very top?
Yeah.
Hit the back button.
Okay.
Now, there's viewers at home that have complained. Remember that complainer?
Valerie.
Valerie, yeah, who said, I can't see anything, I can't hear. So let's dictate what is happening.
You want me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to hit Control F.
Right, and that's the find button.
Let's pretend, okay. And then we're going to copy this CCD, Miami-Dade County, Florida. Copy. Put it in replace, not find, replace. Find what? This?
Yeah.
And
So there's 2 little boxes there, find what, and we want to find all of those things, replace it with what? Nothing.
And then we hit replace all.
Replace all. And look at that. Wonderful. You heard that, Valerie?
I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just gonna get We did that.
One more time.
But now you can just hit the rewind button on your time.
That's what we're gonna do.
As many times as you want. Now, we want to get the next files.
Wait, are we back here?
Oh yeah, go back, hit the back to advance. All right, now make sure you uncheck that. Okay, get rid of the sex. And
You want the age, right? The total 18.
it's going to come. What's the next direction say? Somebody, how many people got computers in here? This shouldn't take that long then. There you go, poverty, population. I didn't hit poverty. Okay, now hit close that and scroll down. Slow. Okay, yeah, here it goes. Poverty, sex, and age.
This?
Yeah. See, yeah, all right, so we got the total population right there, so we don't need to go find it anywhere else. Tell me what we wanted for poverty.
The male population.
Say what the whole sentence says.
Total population.
Slow down. Total population.
Poverty population.
Poverty population.
Male.
Male.
Male 18 to 24.
Right. female, and then female 18 to 24. All right, this table has everything that we're gonna want. 1 second, because I know that other thing, when we download it and there's 2 different tables, and it's really hard to read. But if we just remember, somebody write this down for Everglades, which is gonna be the top one in our file. Somebody just like take a note of this so we can find it easily. We're looking for 5064, 505, 302, 11. You understand what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. You're looking for the data.
We're finding the data so we don't have, so we can just scroll through and don't have to like open up each one really wide. We can just find it a lot quicker. So I said 5064, 505, 302, 11, 203 is the female poverty, or female poverty, and 12. This is what I meant of like when that whole thing was the Everglades. Like, look at how odd these numbers are. Almost all of the male poverty is 55 to 64 years old, and it's really all 35 to 65. What is in the Everglades?
Swamps.
Right. But I think there's a jail there.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Chrome Detention Center, which is on Chrome, and I think they're counting that as part of. Ah, which reminds me, that's why I even said it. I reminded me because of yesterday I brought it up, and I was like, let me just say to you guys too. Because I said Chrome, that's where the detention center is, that's in the Everglades. That talk on the 28th that I'm talking about is my graduate student, Karina, who's been volunteering. Her dissertation is about what we're doing with illegals here in Miami. And not just here in Miami. Our detention center is like for this whole southern region or something like that. So it just is like, hate to call something perfect timing because it's so like a horrible thing when she's doing research on. But it's just, perfect timing is the word. So relevant to the political and immigration climate of today, given what is happening with illegal or DACA or whatever, or just all in the attitude of immigration right now in America. Her dissertation, her talk on the 28th is about her dissertation is about just this. So anyway, we want to go and download this table and go find those columns. So we want D, E, not E.
Not E. F.
F.
H.
Yeah, let them say it. They say it better than me.
That's the only ones I remember.
Oh, we gotta scroll right.
Yeah, scroll.
So
Was it 11?
I think
11.
V, but make V wider. Let's see. V.
Yeah, it was probably that one.
Right, but just make it just to make sure. Make it even wider. Is it get it even wider? H is
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, V. Hit Control V. And scroll. What was it? 203 is the next number.
Yeah, 203.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Oh,
AJ.
AJ.
Forgot this.
12.
Go right. Will you say AW?
They're both
Yeah, AW.
No, that's the margin of
Oh,
error.
yeah.
AX.
AX.
All right, now copy all those and paste them into their thing. Now, what I would just do, why it's even color coded in our directions. Why make this thing all on one page? Make J like thinner. Yeah, that's good. Shoot, so which one am I looking at? All right, so highlight G through L.
Highlight G.
Yeah, like hit selected and shift. All right, yeah. All right, and then what do you do? Right click inside of that box. Anywhere, and then which one is it? The one that's highlighted yellow already. Yeah, but scroll down, get a better color. And what's it like? Blue. Blue. That's pretty dark though. Maybe they got shades.
Like a lighter blue.
Yeah, there you go. Right, now we can see, now we can differentiate. That one was a total, we don't confuse ourselves. Next, you want to get And they're all right next to each other.
Next.
No, that was everything from there. We want to get right in the directions. We wanted total poverty, male 18 to 24, female poverty, female 18 to 24.
Yeah. So we go back here.
Yeah, so go back here, hit the back button, uncheck that one, and I think right over here is black, and then somewhere right next to there is Latin.
Oh, so I don't even have to.
Yeah, you don't need to even change anything. So somewhere in here is Hispanic or Latino, that one, whatever. And it has every, I think it's going to have, you see Latin poverty, like none of them are even under 35. All right, so yeah, we want this one. And I think all of these are going to be the same heading letters. Hit down, wait, one more second.
We want,
Yeah. 2852, somebody write this down. 2852-193-154. 0 is going to be hard to find. What, do you remember? Well, we'll figure it out in 1 second. 39 and then another 0. I remember that.
Oh, wait, I have it. Should I close the other one?
Yeah, maybe so we don't confuse ourselves. Yeah, don't save.
And then this one.
Oh, they're the ones that we selected.
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
It was there, but
Yeah.
What?
All right. No, it had the column letters
selected.
selected already, and we could have just remembered what those were.
Oh.
So we want D, E,
No,
D,
not E.
F. You, somebody else say it. I'm gonna mess
D,
it up.
F.
Especially
That's 0.
which 0?
There's a 0.
But there's a lot of zeros.
There's 154. And now there's a 0 next.
What's the
is what I'm
154?
saying. Isn't that the male total?
What's I don't know. Make it wider.
This one?
Yeah.
I think the 193 we're not.
We're not doing. Make 192. Make that one even wider. F wider. Yeah, we wanted that. We wanted population, poverty, male poverty. Oh, slow down. You just went too. Yeah. We wanted FH.
And now 0 is next, but I don't know.
Yeah, but
one.
which 0 is it? It's
I think
the
you're
same
gonna have
one
to
as the
scroll.
V.
Oh, it
Make
might
V
be.
wider.
Yeah, it might be V.
Yeah. I think it was just V.
That's you.
You gotta making you wider.
But that's you.
No.
That's you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think it is V.
Yeah, I think V.
Yeah.
Yes, V. So somebody remember
And now
these letters.
39, I think.
I think it's AJ is 39. Yeah, 39 is AJ. Somewhere.
And then it's going to be another
AX
0.
maybe?
No, it was AW.
AW? Scroll
I think.
over.
Oh, no, AX.
AX.
Yeah.
Okay, copy all those. Alright, so that's total population, poverty, male poverty. This is total population, poverty, male poverty. Yeah. Now make that thing thinner. Make this one a different color. What color do you like for this one?
Let's do yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's not like FIU, blue and gold, huh? And then, what was this one? Is this Latin?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, that's the black one. Tomaya, didn't you have a question?
Now.
In life?
What do you mean?
Question.
That's the question.
I don't have a question.
You don't? You got it all figured out, huh?
Oh, on this? I was watching the video.
No, you had asked me something. I said just ask in class on Thursday next time I see you.
No, it was, I said I wanted to move to DC and I asked about like grad programs.
I know.
Oh.
I know. I remembered. I was just trying to get you back. I told you
Oh,
last
you
Thursday.
Me. Oh, no.
Ask in class, and now I'm saying
You
to
asked
Maya,
me-
didn't
you
you
asked
have
me-
a question?
Yes. And you asked me why do I want to get a master's in sociology, and I
Right.
think my pause was too long.
Right.
And you were like, I'll actually just have an answer.
Right. Right. So the Latin one, no, the black one, this is exactly the same thing. It's got what we want. Look at that. The whole poverty of black population is black males. And they're all 35 to 45 and then 55 to 65. Anyway, we want to just download that one, copy that.
Okay, so it's
D, F,
Yeah.
J? No.
No. We also want H. Not J.
H.
H.
Or
Not
not
J. H.
My bad.
T, F, H. See, like this is total population, poverty population,
Male.
poverty male population. I think it was V.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 18 to 24. Yeah, hit that
yeah.
one.
And then it's
AJ
AJ, yeah.
is going to be the female.
And then AX, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it?
I think so.
What? That section won't work on this.
You must have something like.
Oh, I think I
okay.
know. Yeah, I think I want to like down here or something. Okay, so D, F,
H.
H,
V.
AJ, and AX.
Yep. Now, what we have is a whole lot of whole numbers. You're going to have to convert this into percentages to compare and figure out what is significant in here. Now, do you work for the school, the Board of Education? No, nobody in here works for the Board of Education. Does anybody have a job in social sciences yet? I doubt it. Though it's all social science. Even if you work at Applebee's, there's a little social science in there, no? I diss Applebee's. Like, that's my go-to place to diss in class. Because it's fast food disguising itself. It's Donald Trump's comb-over is what it is. It's disguising itself as a restaurant and a family place, but it's not. It's disgusting. I think, well, I'm not going to get into everything else I think about it right now. But it is disguising itself as a restaurant. There is no kitchen in there. There's a series of 10 microwaves in the back. I'm quite certain. That's it. Okay?
How do you feel about Chili's?
They're the same thing.
I'm just wondering.
Applebee's, for TGI Fridays and Ruby Tuesdays.
I
Those.
have Olive Garden too.
Yeah, that's not an Italian restaurant.
I know that.
Anyway.
What about Longhorn?
Red Lobster.
Longhorn.
What did I start here now? I don't even know why I mentioned. I forget. It doesn't matter. What we're doing, none of you worked at these in social sciences yet, so I understand you're not going to find probably the most significant things in here. We probably also want to, the next step here for you guys to do is get rid of one of the headings, so you only have one heading, and give it much better name so it's easier to read. I think in the directions, do me a favor and highlight everything.
Everything?
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
I think you should go to the last and hit shift.
Yeah.
on that one.
Oh, I could do
What do you think?
shift. Wait, whoa.
Whoa.
Wait, okay.
Hit A. Now scroll right.
Shift and then
No,
scroll
just
right.
just scroll right.
Just scroll right.
And then hit Shift X. Now, open up a new sheet. Go back to the first sheet. Hit copy. Now go to sheet 2. Right click and paste. But look at these different options we got to paste. Paste the fourth one over. What's it called? It's called transpose.
Oh.
You can't because you can't. Oh, wait. Let me see one thing in here. Because you hit the whole thing. I'm going to show you this cool little trick. Is this the first one? Hit the first box, then don't hit the letter, the headings, and then Shift X14, copy that, and we can transpose it into a table that makes more sense.
Wow.
See, if those headings were better by now, this wouldn't be so confusing also.
Wow.
But it's a much easier to read table once we've inverted it. They call it transpose. Sure, I think I would say invert, but...
How did you do that? What did you...
I copied and pasted. What did you learn in college?
He
You
only
didn't learn
did
copy and
boxes,
paste?
not lines.
I'm kidding with you. You should have never known the city either. You should have never said... Go back to the first sheet.
Okay.
Actually, open up a new sheet.
Okay.
Now go back to the first sheet. Right, instead of hitting the A, I just hit the first box. And in fact, why don't we get rid of row 1? Okay, just like
Hit
select the
number
1, right click, delete. Okay, now
Hit the first cell.
let's also give these better headings in order for our transpose to be better.
Okay.
Don't make them too wide though.
No, I'm just reading to
Yeah.
see what it was.
Right.
You can just click it.
Why not just total poverty?
Yeah. Total 18 to 24.
Total 18 to 24.
Yeah.
You could just do that on the formula bar too. You can just write it there.
Yeah.
You don't have to spread.
Okay.
Right. The next one was male 18 to 24.
Right there.
Female 18 to 24. Okay, while she's coming up with good headings, and you can watch the video and do that on your own time. We don't need to watch somebody type. Tamaya wants to go to Washington. And she wants to get a master's in sociology. Why? Was undergrad just not enough?
No, I majored in psychology
Uh-huh.
my senior year, like last semester. I figured out I hated it.
Psychology.
Yeah, so then I started taking anthro classes. Thought I wanted to get anthropology, took the classes. Then I was like, no, I like it, but not that much. Then I took sociology, and I was just like, whoa, like, I love this. I took sociological theories,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm super into social justice. I'm really into like institutions of power, things like that. Like, I want to understand them more, and I also want to be an activist.
So you need a degree to be. That's how you
No, I
get
don't
street
think-
cred.
Oh
in
my
the
God.
activist world, that's how you get street cred.
And then I'm taking Professor Jaser. And
Who?
Jaser, she's a feminist and an activist, and she was talking
In my department,
in the sociology department.
Jaser.
She's from the Caribbean. She's changing her last name to Roberts. She's curly hair. Yeah, taking her for 2 classes.
Mitzi.
So her name's Oceana.
Oh, she just got her PhD. Okay,
Oh,
Oceana.
yeah.
All right. La Lore.
Jaser.
Oh, J? I thought it was an
It's
L.
J-A-Y.
Anyway, I just know her Oceana. Anyway.
And she was talking.
Yeah, she's from like Guadalupe maybe, or like...
She studies African culture.
Right,
stuff.
right. I know her. I know
She was
shit.
just talking about how like what she does is kind of not normal, like being in education and also being an activist, and how like you meet people who do that
That's
as well.
Hispanic.
But there's a lot of people, especially the diversity of people getting...
Yeah,
Yeah, that's total.
that's Hispanic.
No, 5064 is the total.
Yeah.
Total.
No,
But
total.
Hispanic poverty No?
No. 5064 is the total population. This one is Hispanic. Yellow. Green is black. This is total.
Okay.
So this is also just, this doesn't have ethnicity. This is male. No, this is total, that's total population. This is total poverty. This is male poverty. This is 18 to 24 poverty. This is female poverty. This is female 18 to 24 poverty. And then the next one would be the same wording, just the yellow is Latin and the green was black, I think. Yeah, so especially with, if you imagine, at one time, the PhD was very mono-ethnic thing. Like, there was only white people that had PhDs at one time. That's what I'm getting at, right? Now, especially this institution, FIU, in our department, GSS, I'm amazed at how many non-white PhDs we're producing.
Yeah, and in the psychology department, there's no diversity whatsoever. So then when I got to this department.
Yeah, it's very diverse. The faculty, there's like of 34 full-time faculty members, I think it's like 5 of them that are black, which it's like, yeah, it's not a big deal, but that is. 1 of 7 of, that's like, 15 to 20% or something like that. Anyway, what I was trying to get at, so yeah, there's a lot more now of people who are like, I got into social sciences not because like I just love my classes, because I didn't even go to college till I was 26. That whole time I was in movement, seeing what young people with revolutionary ideas and trying to be an activist, and then I went to school to be a better revolutionary. And now I'm trying to balance, how do I like change the world and also sit in this classroom with y'all. But it's not quite working out. It's not changing, hearts and minds one at a time, I guess.
It's Hispanic, right? I'm sorry.
Yellow was Hispanic.
Yeah.
So that's the total Hispanic population, Hispanic poverty, Hispanic male poverty. The PhD, or any advanced degree, is actually narrowing what it is that you're going to go out and do. These degrees, when it's, I give you an example, like an engineer might make like, I don't know, 170,000 with a bachelor's degree. How much more do you make with a PhD? What more do you get out of a PhD in engineering? Actually, nothing, because most places that want an engineer, they want to train you. They don't want the school to train you and narrow your mind down to what engineering is. They want you to just have the bachelor's degree, have the skills, and then come out and let them train you in what they need. What I'm getting at is actually this thing you really, when you're choosing what kind of grad program that you do, it's not something you need. Somehow we've told everybody you need to have a bachelor's degree, and people feel like they're incompetent or like they haven't done enough in their life if they don't have it. Fine, you're here right now about to get a bachelor's degree. Even at this level though now, somehow we've ingrained in people's heads, you're going to need more degrees to compete, and it's just not really true. You need to get out there and see what this field is. Right now you've taken 10 sociology classes, and honestly, I don't know you that well. I know you from 4 class periods, but I just know because I've been in this game for a minute that you don't know what sociology is yet. These 10 people, like there's thousands of sociologists or social scientists, tens of thousands in the U.S. These 10 professors aren't really, that's a very narrow view of what this even is. Now, even you might, and in one second, when she finishes this, I'm going to show you a website which will show you every school that has these different degrees, and you can narrow down your search to figure out, come up with a list of all the advanced degree, schools that have an advanced degree in sociology or whatever field that you want. But the schooling is really narrowing down. It doesn't open up a billion opportunities, is what I'm getting at. It's limiting them, so you got to really know that this is what you want. Now, people make a ton of mistakes in undergrad. People go choose a school of undergrad just out of convenience a lot of times. People, on the other hand, at FIU, it's more out of convenience probably, why you're here, because it's close to home. But other people, there's a common complaint when they graduate, like, holy cow, why did I just spend $200,000 on a school that's like, all right, far away? I should have just gone to state school and spent like $30,000, like versus like going to, I don't know, Clemson or something like that. It's one thing if you go to Harvard, but then there's like this other layer of expensive private schools that it's like, why did I just go to state school? Sorry to diss Clemson. They're just a bad, I don't know, just an example. So you don't want to make these same kind of mistakes when you're thinking about a grad program though. But people nonstop do. So in the past, actually we used to also, right now we're doing that Science Cafe Nerd Night talk, but in the past we used to have this other thing of grad student and undergrad students mixing and meshing in a social about like, what would you advise what would I advise myself if I was a grad student, I'm 3 years in, what did I not realize that I thought I knew when I was an undergrad but not know now, kind of thing? You're done? All right, great. Now invert it or transpose it to to sheet 3.
Okay, so you did this.
That, and then scroll all the way over. So, what I'm getting at, do you want to get a PhD?
No, not right now.
PhD is, you're being taught about a discipline by people with PhDs. Overwhelmingly, people do not have a PhD in this field and they actually work in the field. A PhD is strictly a research degree. If you want to be a researcher and work at a university or some type of government institution or something like that, you get the PhD. If that's not what you want to do, it is not just a colossal waste of time, it will destroy your mind and body and soul trying to do this thing for 5 years. Now, outside of a PhD, there are masters. There's kind of like 3 different kinds of masters. There's theoretical masters, which will prepare you for a PhD. There's applied masters, which are hard as hell, but you come out with all of those skills that are employable. And then there's professional masters. And people get duped into that professional masters not knowing what it is because it seems cheaper and it's convenient and easier to do. Professional masters is only to be credentialized to move up at a job you already have. You're a police officer who moved up, you can go get a master's in criminal justice. They call them cop shops. You can go get a master's in criminal justice, so now you can be lieutenant. But it's not as if you're really doing it's only to be credentialed to move up in a career you already have. That's why they put the little word professional masters next to it. Typically, now there are other ones, but typically that is the language that they are using. So, you probably want to be more employable.
Of course.
You should probably work in the employment for a year and get an applied master's. Applied master's, you would be working with data. You would be not playing around with Excel, but probably playing around with Stata, SPSS, GIS, learning all of the programmings that can process data into something manageable to do exactly what we are doing right now. This is a little introduction to it. Taking complicated data and making sense of it and being able to express it to people who do not know in terms of, and putting it into bullet points of just what was significant. And the data will be a lot. You hear this term like big data or mega data and don't know what it is. This is not it. This is like 30 rows or not even, this is 24 rows and like 15 columns, 20 columns. Like we're talking about millions of rows and columns and being able to make sense of it. You don't do it by hand. You got to know programs that can process this data and write scripts so that then you come out and say, this is what's happening in this specific demographic that we're trying to do. We're trying to find out about. If you know how to do that, you'll be very employable. There's tons of 2 years masters that will make you come out and you'll be ready to land that job and be working on that. So, if you don't want to do that, then you probably want to just you want to go to DC, go work at a think tank or something like that and learn what research is. This table is now ready, good to go for you to find what is significant in here. To make visuals, you're going to need to turn these whole numbers into percents, and then compare, like male, no diploma. Where did our female no diplomas go? I think we lost it somewhere along the way. We definitely had it at one point.
Oh.
Maybe it's
No, it's gonna be a percent. I think we somehow, maybe we didn't copy it when we did it. I don't know. It was in that first table we downloaded though. All right, but you're gonna do this on your own anyway. So when you do it, don't forget the emails. So for this next week, you're gonna find what is significant. We're gonna all show each other on Thursday after you've been messing with this data to find significant things. You're gonna show what you got. We'll talk about it. I say what is good and what's not, and then you turn it in that Friday or that Sunday. But just know I'm not gonna answer my emails on the weekend. 123. Wow, we really did that fast. But that's a good thing. It was taped. I might have been talking fast, but you can go hit the rewind, play, pause, select, all that. We're good? Wonderful. Great job, Natalie. Yes. Oh, questions. Wait. Questions. People like. All right, never mind.
I didn't
It's
stop.
still recording?
Yeah, it's still recording.
Yeah.
Regarding, because on step 2 it asked us about, well, it's from the previous assignment before. How would we interpret, like for example, for one line graph, how would we interpret like the most significant, I would say?
But you see the line going in a certain way. Is the other one following it?
Or is there a
So
gap
one of them was, like,
between
coming
them?
together.
Like if
Is
one's
it
like
go-
that,
But was
one's-
that gap like kind of the same as it always been, or did it like just all of a sudden become a big gap? Right. So then
I
we
think for
find there's a
one-
break in whatever was correlated with that data.
So when you assemble the line graph from the Excel, if a line graph all of a sudden just goes up or down for one of the lines, that means there's like a significant.
That's a significant change. One of the pieces of data is going down, the other one's going up. Everything was like, oh yeah, we see there's this relationship. And all of a sudden one goes this way and the other one goes that way. There's a break in that relationship. And we want to play around with, actually this one is actually going to be a good one to try to make a pie graph out of, because pie charts, you want it out of 100. White, black, and Latin is basically 100% of the population. It's 99% of the population in Miami. So maybe you can play around with a pie chart. The bar graph versus the line graph, some people like those a little bit better. Now the point of this is not to just make, however many, I think I say to make like 3 or 4 visuals or something on this one. It's not to just make 3 or 4 random visuals. You want to make visuals. Let me show you something. U.S. federal spending. Do you know what like the congressional budget looks like? Like these line items are huge, right? They take forever to understand that, and the 500-page reports of where spending goes is crazy. But you look at a pie chart and it's like, oh yeah, I get it. It all goes to Social Security, Medicare, and military. And then the rest gets divided up into, roads and whatever else. Yes. You see how that visual just made the 500-page report that you weren't going to read? Just made it a lot easier to understand? Right. So in this, we have writing, we have a table, and then we have a visual. That visual needs to make it just abundantly clear as to what you're saying. Don't make visuals that are hard to understand. They need to be the clearest thing that you are saying. You have this bullet point. That's not just a bullet point. It's a bullet punch. Okay? This sentence really just knocks them down. Knock them out the park. We want the visual to go along with that one. That it's just clear and it's like, look, everybody over here has nothing, but right over here, they got everything. You see it in that visual? Yeah. That's the point of making the visual. Somebody had a question. I don't know if I even answered it.
No, you actually did.
All right. Yes.
You said we have to turn it into percentages?
Yes.
Everything?
Not everything. What you decide to, when you see something, you have to play with it to find things that are significant, and then to even figure out how to make what percentages to make. You seen this one before? They say be like, oh my God, we spend too much on military. Word? You think so?
Yeah.
Right. So like That little thing we're trying to figure out what to do. We give out too many food stamps. Well, that's into that little sliver of food and agriculture. Everything to do with food and agriculture, including the couple of food stamps we give out, is in that budget. The science. Everything to do with from NASA all the way to grants to like
The CDC.
the CDC, all of that is in that little sliver. Education. Just government. I'm pretty sure that one means employees.
Yeah.
There's like a ton of employees. A lot of them get too much money, I heard. Anyway. Yes. Oh. I was going to show you one other thing here. The grad schools.
There's a tax.
Oops, scroll that one. So on this website, like let's say social sciences, sociology, go. We can match you, add another subject or continue. Bachelor, wait, what is your current level of education? Bachelor, high school, I don't know, what's the difference? Oh, too many questions. I don't feel like answering all these questions. But then it'll just narrow it down to you want to get an on-campus master's sociology applied, and it'll be like narrowed down to there's 100 schools. These are them. Then go look at the websites for all of those schools and see what they do. What is the correct? What do they to get out of like to finish? What do you need to do? Where do people end up working when they're done?
I have another question.
Yes.
How do you feel about someone who wants to attend an HBCU for a master's in sociology?
In sociology, how do I feel about it?
Is it worth
How
it?
many of you don't need to answer, or you can, how many of you, is this your first time having a black male professor? Really, the rest of you have had black male professors before?
I think so. I'm trying to
And how you
remember.
remember?
Trying to think.
Yeah.
Think about that is an odd thing that I'm the first black male professor that you've had.
No, you're
And I'm not the best
I
example of that. I'm kind of an oddball probably in terms of academics and in terms of black people. Not quite fitting into either one of those categories so well.
Marcy Washington.
Huh? Oh, in political science?
Yeah.
Right, that's a black female, but yeah.
Oh, I have J search. I'm assuming she's one.
Who?
Oh, she.
Oh, Ocien. That's a
Yeah.
female also.
But no.
Yeah, but she's black, yeah.
She's my first female.
Right. Right. So how do I feel about HBCUs? HBCUs, I'm torn. I mean, it's wonderful. Sometimes it can feel like you're in a different era and it's not relevant, but other times it's like, wow, no, this is very relevant and safe and great. And like when I was looking for a job, I went to Howard, first of all. And then I had too much fun, so that semester I ended up just hanging out around Howard for like the next few years. And then went to University of Maryland when I actually went to school. But then and Howard is great. Like, Biggie performed that year. Biggie was on campus. And Biggie would hang out there. All the rappers want to hang out there. And there's that side of it. But so did, that was 1994. Nelson Mandela had just gotten out and became the president of South Africa. Where'd he go? He went to Howard. He gave a talk, and there was about 15,000 people on the yard at the center of Howard to go see Nelson Mandela speak. They are relevant. It is significant. It is a wonderful experience if you know how not to get lost in the other part of it. Hanging out with the rappers and such. And then when I finished my PhD and I was looking for a job, and I was like, then I got a different respect. I was like, wow, maybe HBCUs aren't just about like making sure that there's a place that black people can go to school, but that's why I brought up how many of you have had a black professor before, where they all work at HBCUs. I went to Howard, I had a ton of them. And even at Maryland, there was a ton of them too. my man Jason Nichols, who's kind of like becoming viral on Facebook right now because he's always on Fox News and like he gets this racist hate mail all the time. Anyway, that's my buddy. We went to school together at Maryland. Maryland is like, I don't know, 20% black or something, but it's a school of 40,000 and it's 20%. That means like, it's like 10,000 black students.
Way different from here.
Yeah, it's 20% of 40,000 means there is the black, whatever, group, I forgot, the black group. the BSO maybe, Black Student Union, BSU? Black
BSU, Black
right.
Student Union.
I mean, that thing is like huge. Like, there's a ton of people there. Jason Nichols. Yeah, man. Fuck you, too.
Now I know FIU's their program here is really different because they make you learn everything versus like specializing in just one because it's global.
He was with that guy? Harvard Tucker Carlson?
No, Jason Nichols.
No, but I'm saying like.
Oh yeah, he gets asked to be. First of all, he's in Maryland, so like.
The guy's a dick.
I know, big time. He gets into fights with him all the time.
He gets into fights with everyone.
But he was on. So he got his PhD in African diaspora, which is in the same like building as geography, and so like his office was across the hall from mine. And then when he started teaching, I would like sit in his classes all the time. Anyway, that's my but there's a ton of like Maryland, all like FIU I say produces a ton of not white PhDs. Well, so does Maryland produce a ton of them, and some of them are like kind of big time now, especially in like black consciousness.
I'm surprised you don't know who Patricia Collins is.
I don't know who that is. But I don't know sociology.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole. That is so far. Like here, sociology and geography are in the same building. In Maryland, it is like a long walk that I just never really took. Anyway, I know you guys didn't want this to turn into like Black Diaspora Hour, but guess what? It's Black History Month, okay? Any more questions? We good? Alright, so you mess around with the data, and I will see you next week. Spend some time, come in with we'll talk about what you find is significant in the data.